Again, my name's Irene, and I'm the owner of Get You Fit Fitness and Nutrition. I started my company, actually this will be my 10th year, shockingly. And I went into this field because I needed help with diet. And like many of you and like most Americans, losing weight was my nemesis. I gained a bunch of weight um, in during my college years and after getting my master's degree, and I really had no idea how to lose it. And so tonight's presentation is actually inspired by my story, although I'm not going to get into my story, but if you want to hear my story, you can buy my book. It's inspired by the hundreds of thousands of people that can't figure out how to lose weight. And it's not so much how to lose the weight, it's how to keep it off. And sadly, we're faced with these huge health epidemic and health risks that come along with it. So initially, when we get into wanting to lose weight, we want to lose weight initially, most people, because of how we look, how it makes us feel, and it drives us to want to get healthier. As we get older, it starts to affect our actual health. And at that point, it's almost a point of no return. So getting to the issue and getting ahead of the problem is really the only way to solve the problem. Unfortunately, the bigger problem is that people don't understand how to keep it off. And statistically, you really only have a 5% chance of keeping weight off once you've lost it. And that's a really sad statistic, but it is reality. And as you guys are all joining me tonight, you probably are sitting there going, yeah, that's accurate. You know, I mean, think about all the people that you know accumulated in your life that have lost weight, and think about how many times they have gained it back or you have gained it back. I know for me, it's been a multitude of times, and I don't have them documented, but what I do have documented is the number of times that I gained and lost it in my adult life, and that was the 30 pounds that I gained and lost once I actually figured out how to lose weight, and that was 6 times that I lost and gained 30 pounds, which is just mind-boggling. And yet, time and time again, I would repeat these patterns. And so now that I have clients that come to me that I help when they onboard and when they start with me, I'm hearing the same patterns across the board with everybody. And it is the roots of this boil down to the same thing. And what I love about what I have discovered is there is a formula to this. There's a definite, I don't want to call it a trick, there is a definite formula to success in figuring out how to get to that point of never having to redo a diet again. Before I go through that all, I do have to say that it's never forever. You will never ever go on this venture of losing weight and ever get to put your guard down. There is no thing as that diet that you go on and you're fixed for life and you have the metabolism of a 16-year-old boy again. You always have to have your guard up. But with the right tools and the right knowledge, you can improve your metabolism, and you can improve your behaviors so that you can lose the weight and maintain it. Because the maintenance part of it is definitely, in my opinion, a lot less stressful and a lot more manageable than trying to lose it when you don't know what to do and when it's not coming off. And that is usually what happens when people get frustrated and then people don't know what to do and they use excuses and they fail. So, with that being said, I prepared a little presentation, and I'm going to do my best to let people in and share the screen and everything else at once here. So, first things first, let me share my screen here. And right, so sharing the screen. Okay, so do you guys see that? Yes, yes. Perfect. Okay, so diet do-over. Again and again and again, we find ourselves in the situation having to redo the diet. Most diets will work, and they will work if you do them right. However, our society and our marketing world is filled with diets that are gimmicky and diets that are harmful to our metabolisms. And because of that, this is and can be very damaging. Americans are facing a huge, huge, huge epidemic. This is a larger epidemic than we even realize. And if we think about it, we are so desensitized to this because it is really surrounding us. It's everywhere we look. It's everywhere we see. Most people, if you think about a large group of people, most people in a large group, the vast majority of them are overweight. The vast majority of people have had to redo a diet or don't understand how to lose weight. 35% of Americans are obese. We don't even understand what the term obese means because we hear it so often. Obese basically means that you have more than 30% overage of body fat. This number has gone up more than 50% since the 1970s, which again is astonishing. 33% of Americans are obese and children are obese, but yet there are gyms and diets and fitness centers everywhere. And this is something that's always astonished me, that there could be so many people in such dire need, but yet we've had these things available to us more than ever. And there's flax seeds and chia seeds and everything. I mean, there is not a grocery store aisle that you can go down without having these ultra healthy things at our every exposure. But why is it that 655,000 people last year in 2020, the year of COVID, ironically, died of a heart attack, which is so shocking, and that is not an increase on by any means of heart attack deaths by prior years. It's 1 in 4 deaths of heart attacks, and that is because of poor health and poor diets. An estimated of 45 million Americans go on a diet a year. That's crazy. But it's not shocking because think of the people that you know in your life and in your world. How many of them have been on a diet? $33 billion a year are spent on weight loss products, and 95% of those people gain it back. And this picture, this image makes me so sad. It's so heartbreaking to me because I know what that feels like. It's this image was hard for me to even put on this presentation because I know what that feels like, and it's an awful, awful feeling. When you think you're doing everything right, and yet nothing is happening, or what is happening is going in the wrong direction. I've done it. You've done it. And how many millions and millions and millions of other people have done it too. So enough. I've had enough, and the rest of you have had enough. So my formula is 50, 40, 40. And I'm going to kind of go through it all right now and discuss it with you. So 50% of success in never having to redo your diet ever again is mindset. And I assure you, there's a lot more to this, but the 50% of this stems from your mind. It is not your destiny to be overweight. It is not in your family's genes. It is not predisposed. Obviously, if you're one of the 1 in 3 preschoolers that was obese, you watched your parents and their behaviors probably. So there is some play there, but it is not because you plateaued. The truth about plateaus are most people don't plateau until they have been on a regimen for 6 months. You are likely to quit before 6 months. And it's not your metabolism. The reason that you are not losing weight is not these things. And anybody that's lost weight, and a lot of you are with me right now, listening and watching, and you've lost weight, you know what I'm talking about. It is your mindset. And your mindset dictates your behaviors. Your mindset dictates these behaviors. Because when you get frustrated, you start doing this stuff, self-sabotage. You lack self-forgiveness, you lack commitment, and you lack patience. And this is why diets fail, and this is why you have to redo your diet. You lose weight to a certain extent, and then what inevitably happens is you get frustrated because it stops coming off. And you assume you've hit a plateau, you assume it's your metabolism, you assume your body is supposed to be a certain size, and then you start doing behavioral things. And it all boils down to lacking patience and frustration. And all of these things are mindset. Of course, you have to have a good diet plan and intact, but the bottom line is with any diet, as long as it's a healthy diet, if you get frustrated, none of it is going to work. So let's talk about diet. 40% of the equation is diet. So 50% is mindset, 40% is diet. And the problem with diets today are most of them are too restrictive. Most of them are unrealistic, and most of them are not sustainable. That's the top three. And you guys are programmed, and I used to be programmed to think that a good diet that's going to work is one that is going to strip you of everything that you've ever enjoyed in your life. And we are just programmed for that. And so we enter these diets thinking, all right, here goes. I'm never going to enjoy again. And that is unrealistic. We sign up for these fasts, we sign up for these detoxes, we sign up for these low carb, extravaganzas, and they work, and that is what is making that $33 billion a year, because people have figured out what sells, and what sells is fast weight loss, but it does not stay off. And that is why 95% of people are right back in that same situation. They're not enjoyable. No one enjoys the cabbage diet. I mean, yeah, the cabbage soup is good, but I don't want to eat it every day for the rest of my life. A lack of structure. You can do a diet where you're counting points, or you're not eating till noon every day for a certain amount of time. You can't do it for the rest of your life. I mean, the rest of your life is a long time. So, so when somebody comes to me and they say, I want to do keto, my cousin's sister's best friend's uncle lost 50 pounds on keto, and like, wow, he looked amazing, did it quick. The first thing I say is, do you plan on eating watermelon next summer? Because that's out for keto. Do you like apples? Can't have apples. Can't have cherries. Can't have. I mean, there are low keto breads, and there are low keto beers, and there are low keto tortillas, but there is no low keto watermelon. So you're signing up for a long time of no keto, lots of stuff. And if you're on vacation, I guarantee you are not going to find a low keto tortilla. So you are signing up for weight gain. And then, of course, no consistency. That is where you do something where you can sustain it for a certain amount of time, and you buy into these plans where you get to relieve yourself by having a cheat day. And I've talked about this in my programs. The damage that could be done in one day is going to offset your hard work for the other 5 or 6. And so you're not going to see a result. So diet is very important. So how do you find a diet that is realistic, not too restrictive, sustainable, enjoyable, has structure, and is consistent? Well, it kind of goes to the primitive days, understanding your diet. If you understand what you're eating, and you educate yourself, you can do it. And so I'm going to really quick interject here, because this is really how my whole meal plan was born, I guess I could say, or what originated is, I did lose a lot of weight on Atkins, and I did lose weight on South Beach, and I did, but I did it all back. I did intermittent fasting, and I did that one for a while, gained it all back. And I finally got so frustrated with my weight gain that I mean, my gosh, I think about this now. I started running to lose weight. I mean, I now have 51 marathon medals. I obviously fell in love with the sport, but I ran to lose weight, and that was my form of weight loss, and that didn't even work, because I was then a runner who was supplementing my diet with exercise, and I was still gaining because I was not able to balance it. So I hit the books, and I educated myself, and it became a passion, and I ended up becoming a nutritionist, and I created a diet. And the diet basically is a diet that you don't know you're on. It's the way that you are supposed to eat. And I just had this conversation with someone today. She just signed up. And Heather, if you're watching right now, sorry that I'm talking about you. But she said, so how long do I eat this way? Do I eat this way forever? Or like, is this the structure while I'm losing weight, or is this the structure when I go back to, when I'm at goal? And I said, well, you're never going to be able to go back to eating the way you're eating. No one can. There is no human in the world that can ever do that. So wipe that out of your mind. The key is to lose weight in a way that you can stay eating in that manner forever. And that was like, bingo, that is how I created this diet. I figured out how to lose weight um, with this format. And this way, I don't ever have to go off of it because I love it so much. And now I have thousands of people that have done it. And you guys are all on it and are watching and are hopefully agreeing that the meals and the foods are amazing. Um, but some of you that have slipped, have slipped, just like I have, because I have also slipped. It is because of lack in a few areas, and those areas are accountability. So no matter how amazing that diet is, if you aren't accountable to first, when you are new and you need that extra support, you need to be accountable to someone else, whether it's a professional, like my clients are to me, or a support system, whether it's your spouse, your best friend, your coworkers, someone that you can report to every day when you are starting out, because that needs to be there. You are a loose cannon in the beginning, and it is absolutely necessary to have that support. When I started this program, I started it by literally writing a diet for somebody, and I vividly remember writing it for 5 people and then 10 people, and I opened up myself, and my they were able to communicate with me every day, and they thought it was the weirdest thing that they could text me every day. And as the program grew, and I went from 10 people to 50 people to now, hundreds texting me every day. I've often thought about, gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot on me. But it is such a vital piece of this, because I'm able to catch I'm able to catch them when they are back in that point of right here, that frustration. It's going to be too hard. That frustration piece where they're going to quit, and that is where that comes in. And then you also have to learn to be accountable to yourself. Because if you are leaning on someone else the entire time, and that person is obviously, even if they offer themselves to you forever, you have to learn to be accountable to yourself as well. And that's where this little gadget here comes in handy. There is no one that I know, and again, this is understanding, being sustainable, and having structure. But there is no one that I know that has ever kept their weight off who has not faced the reality of the warden, and I call that the warden. It is a check in to make sure you have not gone over your boundaries. And so that's facing reality. Um, just my most recent weight gain was 2016. And I was Get You Fit then. I mean, I started my company, like I said, 10 years ago. 2016, I ran a marathon on my birthday in June, and I was 118 pounds, and I was feeling a little fluffy, and I overdid the snacks afterwards. We went right on to vacation, and the frustration took over, and I avoided the warden. This was in June, and I kept telling myself I was going to get on the scale when I dropped a couple pounds. Well, June turned to July, then to August, then to September. And this is a true story. And if you want to page back to my Facebook 2016, you might be able to recognize the difference in me. Um, I faced the music in September, and I went from 118 to 143 pounds. And I was training for Chicago. I was training for multiple marathons. I had just run Boston. I mean, I was running 50, 60, 70 miles a week. I was eating healthy, but I was eating too much. And it was, it was a lot of peanut butter. I joke about it, but I was not measuring my food, and I was not facing reality. I did not want to get on that scale because I didn't want to see 120. I was so afraid of seeing 120. And instead, I jumped through the entire 120s and 130s and had to face 140. But once I got on that scale in September, I was already back down into the 120s by Chicago Marathon, which was 6 weeks later, because I faced reality. So you cannot ever think that you can keep your weight off. And when people and I keep track, when people tell me, well, I lost weight, then I gained it back, I always ask, did you weigh yourself while you were gaining? And I only have had one person say that they have, that they were actively weighing themselves every day and watching those numbers climb. Most people avoid the scale and don't see it, although they feel it, they don't see that number. So do yourself a favor, face that warden. The most weight that you can ever gain in 3 days is what? It could be 5 pounds of fluff. And when I say fluff, I mean water, undigested food, sodium, log. You're not going to gain a permanent 5 pounds in 3 days. So if you have a bad eating day and you're frustrated and mad at yourself, don't get on the scale. Don't torture yourself. But the next day, get on the scale, because you're not going to see that much damage. So facing reality and accountability will prevent you from being one of that 95%, of people. And I can tell you from personal and professional experience that is a sure bet. The other sure bet is having sustainable splurges in your meal plan. I just did a podcast last week, and I apologize if you heard it. It was terribly muffly, but I said in there, the secret to weight loss success is building in a 10% caloric splurge every day. So if you are on a 1,500 calorie a day diet, then 10% of that is 150 calories. You are having 150 calories of what you want in that day. Because during the day you are following your meal plan, and if it's one of my meal plans, you are eating your healthy proteins, and you're eating your healthy carbs, and you're eating your healthy fats. You are not depleting your day from wiping out all your fat and all of your carbs and everything that we think is right. But if you want to have a 150 calorie cookie at the end of the day, then that's what you have. But you're not having a 150 calorie latte and a 150 calorie cookie, because that's 30%. So when you build in that 10% every day, and you know this going into that diet, that's sustainable. If you really want that latte and you really want that cookie, but you also really want to keep that weight off, then you need to make a decision and plan it out. Have the latte today, have the cookie tomorrow, or do what I do and have wine every night. It's my joke. So however you want to build it in. However, don't take the protein or the chicken off of your salad, and save those calories so that you can have the latte, the cookie, and the wine, because then you are not providing your body with the right nutrients. So you're not giving yourself junk all day. Your body needs the proper nutrients in order to lose the weight. And the proper nutrients are your healthy carbs, your healthy fats, and your proteins. And there's a huge misconception between what is a carbohydrate and what is a carb. The whole macro thing, in my opinion, has gotten blown out of proportion, because if you go on Fitness Pal and you put in 30, 30, 35, and you eat a cookie, for example, the cookie is going to calculate out as carbs. Those are not the carbs that are going to help you lose weight. If you put in a bagel, same calories, those carbs have zero sugar. That carb is going to get metabolized as the type of carb that's going to help you lose weight and not get stored as fat. So calculating macros is, in my opinion, a big stressor, and it's you're spinning your wheels. Instead, you should just learn healthy fat, healthy carb, protein, and get your splurge at the end of the night. That is what's going to keep you on this for the rest of your life. And then finally, 10% exercise. Now, you just heard me say I've run 51 marathons. I'm an exercise fanatic. I will tell you that I have tried keeping my weight down with exercise. It does not work. We overestimate the amount of calories we burn. We underestimate what we eat. It's a shoo-in every time. We go to the gym, we get on the elliptical, it tells us we burn 500 calories when we really only burn 250, because we don't really know. And then we have a smoothie that is fabulous because it's got, all kinds of achi berry and flax seeds and blah, blah, blah. But this has more calories in it than what we burned. And so it's a buzzkill. You can't outburn a binge. So we exercise for the wrong reasons. And I know I did it. Exercise is fabulous. But if you are doing it to lose weight, then erase it out of your brain right now. You will enjoy exercise that much more if you do it for energy, if you do it for stress relief, if you do it for mood enhancement, if you do it for that clarity, that brain fog will go away, and it is an appetite suppressant no matter what. So instead of stressing yourself out and thinking, I don't have an hour a day to work out, I don't have 5 days a week to work out like I used to, think this: 10 minutes of doing something is going to give you energy, so that instead of you doing this all day, you're doing this all day. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. Go out for that walk. It's going to, those hormones that are released when you walk, those endorphins, are going to reduce the stress levels and increase your mood and reduce your cravings for sugars. So that is going to cause you to lose weight. And when you're lifting weights, you might not burn a lot of calories lifting weights, but the more muscle you have, the faster metabolism is. So don't look at what your Apple Watch says you burned in calories and think that you get to eat that back, because that is the most harmful, damaging thing in weight loss. And I learned my lesson on that one for sure, because there's no way anyone could ever eat back what they burn by any means. So exercise for the right reasons. And as we age, it enhances and reduces our chances of Alzheimer's and dementia by huge numbers, huge numbers. So exercise for the right reasons. And I'm not implying that 10% means don't do it. I'm just saying for weight loss, 10% is really all that is giving you. So change that up. So sustainability will work if you trust it. If you go into it with the attitude that it's not going to work because nothing works for you and you've tried everything and you know your hormones are out of whack, and then it won't. It won't. If you go into it with the right mindset, the process will work. But it is a process. It's a long process, but it's one that is worth taking. And I say this time and time again with people, the longer it takes, actually, the better. You know, it's of course something we want right away, but anybody that's had it take a longer time, it's almost like impossible to gain back if you follow these guidelines. And those people that lost it the right way are the ones that can go on vacation for a week and go off the plan, but follow those parameters and not go completely rogue, but really eat what they want for a week and come back and be shocked that they gained nothing. So it's worth it. And like I always say, those three little pigs, you know, with the houses, the one that built his out of brick, took him forever, but it's still standing. And so that right there is the biggest lesson of all. Trust the process. I'm living proof of it. I no longer log. I no longer really measure my food, but it's built in. It's a built-in mechanism. But one thing I do is I report to that warden every day. I might skip a day here and there, but I will never ever skip more than a day or two, because that was my lesson learned. And self-forgive, trust yourself, and it's on your mind. That mindset piece is huge.